Been making some new eyeballs, more eyeballs. I got this book today, How to Fix Anything. Almost anything. It's kind of cool. It's all in Czech, but hele, Molica. We have those. So yeah, it just has like all these different like tips on how to fix stuff and how to make your dress. It's kind of a nice book. Got it out of the free book thing today. So I've been working on making a lot of eyeballs that I cut out today. Just did a stream painting a bunch of these cartoon eyeballs. Got some more eyeballs over there. And basically what I've been doing is creating these paintings with Dennis and Bertram, and we created this project called Solos. And we took all of my paintings, cut them up into thousands and thousands of pieces, and then Dennison wrote a script, which is a generative process which rearranges them into these explosive portrait-like shapes. And they're available as NFTs for purchase as well. So I've been working on that project, and we realized we needed some more eyes. You use like 2 eyes, you generally use at least 2 eyes per image, and the eyes can get used up. Whereas stuff like this, you can cut this image, you could cut into so many different pieces. Like if you just had this thing, for instance, you could put that on so many different paintings, or the grass, parts of the grass or something like that. So these have a lot more variation and can have a lot more different uses. Little hippo mouth going on there. But yeah, that's been the update. I've been just working on these, still chugging along on the paintings and kind of working that digital flow into my own painting flow as well, because some of these outputs that I'm seeing that are being made generatively from my paintings, it's really interesting to see the contrast in the color and how just the brightness of how Dennison kind of rearranges my paintings makes me actually see my paintings a little bit differently as well. So that's been kind of a revelation, just to see these remixed paintings become my real paintings again as well, which is really fun process too. But we're just sticking with portraiture, kind of like these portraits, that I did previously, and they're pretty. The new generative stuff, I'm really happy with it. I always had kind of a weird relationship with digital painting, and I think a lot of it is because there's kind of a certain rubberiness of a lot of digital paintings that I see. I know you can get some that attempt to recreate paint and the actual feel of paint, and they do a fairly decent job, but there's always kind of like a rubbery smoothness about the paint that I don't necessarily like in a lot of the digital work that I see. So just incorporating texture and light and the way, when you look at one of these paintings, if you're like, oh, you could do that digitally. You can do that digitally in different ways, but look at how the light hits this painting, Getting that sort of texture underneath it. There is something just about oil paint in itself that lends itself to it's just different. And even the best digital programs that I've seen haven't been able to replicate it really. So using my paintings as source material has been really exciting because it's got this texture, It's actually got these textures already, and so it doesn't feel so much like a digitally created image, even though it's based on a script that's randomly generating these portraits from all these little different bits of my paintings, and it fits the actual work that I'm doing. That's what's so amazing about it, because when I started with the cut-ups, when I started doing those cut-ups, I immediately saw, oh wow, you can rearrange these into different creatures, and these different creatures, all of a sudden, it's a different way of making a painting. You're making pieces of a painting. You know, that's essentially what I was doing with the cut up pieces. They're essentially pieces of paintings, and you don't create them knowing that you're going to make this type of a creature. You kind of blindly create all these pieces, and then the fun part is, you know, rearranging them on the wall and then creating something with them. So this process has taken the, you know, part of the human element out and turning it over to a script, which I think is really an interesting way, and conceptually with my work being about people and their online personas and avatars and all this sort of stuff, it also fits that world too of, you know, our bodies being pulled into all these different dimensions and alternative selves that we occupy and perceive the digital world with, as well as the real world, and those two worlds colliding. But having a computer actually generatively making collages is just really cool from a sci-fi perspective as well, which is another thing I'm doing. I'm actually writing a sci-fi novel right now called Lab Grown Steaks, and it's about a ragtag group of young people who are all psychonauts, and they get involved in a epic quest in the past, which is actually the future. And there's psychedelics involved in some spiritual warfare against artificial intelligence and these sort of things. So that's fun too, and just writing has allowed me to think about my paintings differently. So a really fertile time. I'm really happy to be filling this new space with work. And yeah, that's the update.